Hi everyone. So today I'm recording episode 3 of Let's Talk About Books. First question I want to ask is, what are you reading today? I'm currently reading Murakami's IQ 84. It is absolutely massive, coming in at around 1,300 pages, and I am currently on page 550. Also, happy February. Because that's when this episode should be releasing. I am pre-recording this episode, and it's the last few days of January, but trying to get ahead. I feel like that's kind of the best way to do things. And this year anyway for me. How did January go for a lot of you? Was it okay? Did you read a lot of books? Did you read any books? Do you think, oh, this might be the best book of the year for me? I possibly did. I read the End of the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. I read Sally Rooney's Normal People. I read The Winners by Frederick Bachman. I read Babel by R.F. Kuang. And yeah, all of those books were really, really good. I don't think there was one that I particularly didn't enjoy per se. So, comment below. Did you have a good month book wise? And did you read your top book of the year already? And it's only January, or is there another one to come? But how is your TBR looking for February? Do you have many books planned for the month, or are you going smaller? When I look at the age demographic of my YouTube channel, if you're listening to this on Spotify and not YouTube, I have a channel called Joe Wilkinson. But anyway, I would say most of you will be listening to this on YouTube. The demographic for my YouTube channel is it's around 18 to 34 is the main demographic. So I would assume a lot of you, like myself, are still in school possibly. Some of you might already be back, some of you might not be back. But I'll have been back about a week now since when this episode will go up. So, do you read more when you are off or you're on a break, or do you read more when you're into your normal life routine because you're better at knowing when you have time to read? For me, it's been up and down the last year, because when I was working full time between university years, I actually read more because I kind of had set aside time that I could read once I had all my jobs and everything done. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So you would think when you're off on a break, you would be reading more because you have so much time, but then you want to do other things maybe. If reading's your main hobby, then when you're on a break, you feel like you need a break from everything, possibly? Or do you feel that if reading is your number one thing to do, then you'll read all day, every day when you're off? I don't know. It's something I find interesting. I think I read like 8 or 9 books over the Christmas break, which is a good number for me. Might not be a lot for some people, and it might be a lot for some people. Just depends, I suppose, on people who are listening. And a lot of those books were 500 pages, so at your average length of a book. But yeah, I think this is the first episode now where I'm going to actually do some news, or I'm going to talk about some of the best new science fiction books that apparently came out in January. Yeah, January tends to be a quiet time for publishing as people come back from the holidays and booksellers trust in old favourites. It's slim pickings, but there's still some options for brand new space exploration and social commentary this month. Here are the picks for the top new science fiction books in January 2023. So if you don't listen to science fiction books, maybe you might want to give one of these a go. And if you're an advocate reader of science fiction, then let me know in the comments if you picked any of these up, or are you planning to. So the first one is The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz. And it's described as being ecological mystery turns cozy in this novel. that has been compared to Becky Chambers' quiet, thoughtful hope punk. The publishers summarised it by saying it was Destry's life is dedicated to terraforming Sask E. As part of the environmental rescue team, she cares for the planet and its ecosystems as her parents and their parents died before her. But the bright, clean future they're building comes under threat when they discover a city full of people that shouldn't exist, hidden inside a massive volcano. As she uncovers more about their past, she begins to question the mission she's devoted her life to and must make a choice that will affect the future generations. That actually sounds really interesting. I might actually pick that up myself. It comes out on the 31st of January, so it'll be out by the time this episode's out. So yeah, that's actually really, really interesting. Don't really know what it sounds like. It sounds quite unique to me. I'm planning to read more science fiction and non-fiction this year. And just more genres in general. So, and the only really science fiction books I've read are Dune and Red Rising. So and Foundation. So I definitely could pick that up. She's the best-selling author of Anonymous or Autonomous, if anyone's heard of that one. The next one is called Critical Mass by Daniel Suarez, and it's out on the 31st as well. And it's been described as hard science fiction. This novel focuses on engineering marvels in high-tension situations, casting forward the near future that will repeat Earth's cycles of exploration, exploitation, and warring powers. The publisher's summary: when unforeseen circumstances during an innovative and unsanctioned commercial asteroid mining mission leave 2 crew members stranded, those who make it back must engineer a rescue, all while navigating a shifting web of global political alliances. With Earth's governments consumed by the ravages of climate change, the crew must build their own next-gen spacecraft capable of mounting a rescue in time for the asteroid's next swing by Earth. Well, that sounds tense and thrilling. Possibly a good read. There's definitely Armageddon. Does that sound like Armageddon to anybody? Or just me? Yeah, that sounds interesting. The next one is called I Keep My Ecoskeletons to Myself by Marissa Crane, coming out on the 17th. So this one's already out. It's described as Catapult tends to produce precise, moving literacy, speculative fiction. Crane's novel debut looks like an eerie and powerful continuation of that track record. Yeah. So the department in the United States has adopted a radical new form of law enforcement, where wrongdoers are given a second shadow as a reminder of their crime and a warning to those they encounter. Chris is a shadester and a new mother to a baby born with a second shadow of her own, grieving the loss of her wife and thoroughly unprepared for the reality of raising a child alone. Chris teeters on the edge of collapse. Yet as the kid grows, Chris finds her footing. She can't forget her wife, but with time she makes a new life for herself and the child, supported by the community of fellow misfits who defy the department to lift one another up in hope. Yeah, that sounds great as well. Maybe not as massive, or it sounds a bit more narrow and character focused than the other two that I've just been talking about, but they definitely sound good as well. So there's 3 science fiction books that are coming out in January that you might want to pick up. I'm currently on a book ban, so I won't be buying any books because I've just spent too much money the last year or so on books and manga as well. So and of course, like, there's a new book coming out by Cassandra Clare, and I really want to buy it now. I just don't have the money, folks. To be honest with you, just don't have the money. and it's called The Last Hours, Chain of Thorns hardback. And I really want it bad, guys. I really want it bad so much. You know what? I might pick it up. We'll see. We'll see. If I can maybe sell something I own, I might pick it up. It's 688 pages. Have any of you read the Shadowhunter series? That'd be interesting to hear from you if you have. It's good. I actually really enjoy it. It's not the best book you're ever going to read in your life. It's not the best series you're ever going to read in your life, but I think it's outstanding, I think it's, if you enjoy something, then you're going to keep enjoying it no matter what. But yeah, I also hit 30,000 subscribers on the channel, which was a massive thing. Which was great. Yeah, it was really, really good. And I think a goal for this podcast over the next year is I want to record an episode every week, and I would eventually like to bring guests on and that can be anyone, that can be friends of mine, family members, other booktubers, other YouTubers, it can be anyone who wants to come on and just, as long as the general conversation at some point resolves around what this person likes to read and what this person thinks about reading and books in general, then I think that's, staying within the topic of the podcast of let's talk about books. Let's talk books. So let me know what you think of that. Also, there was a UK cover release of Legends and Lattes. I know that's a really, really big jump in topics of conversation, but it is outstanding. And if I was a millionaire, I'd have ordered that by now. It is really nice. It's kind of like this orange border, and then it kind of has this, I don't know how to describe it really. We've read Legends and Lattes. Let me know what you think. But I think the UK cover, would nearly make you pick it up if you knew nothing about it. But yeah, any other news I can think of off the top of my head? There's been a lot of news regarding Dungeons and Dragons and what that company that owns them has been trying to do when it comes to like claiming royalties and stuff. Be interesting to see how that goes, as it's kind of owned by like a third. It's like there's loads of these companies and businesses that do stuff with Dungeons and Dragons that have nothing related to it, and they don't give them any money. So the fact that the company that owns Dungeons and Dragons is trying to come out and say that like people need to give them the royalties, it's a big thing. A lot of YouTubers who kind of do only Dungeons and Dragons stuff, so for that takes like a massive effect on their channel. Yeah, so I think I'll kind of leave it there for now. That was my first attempt to kind of going through a bit of news when it comes to books that are coming out. I can definitely cover other topics, but let me know what you think of this episode, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one, and thanks for all the continued support as always. Really appreciate it.